the Stuffology Show where we dig into the weird, the wild, and the downright fascinating bits of history. Today, we're diving into something that's been buzzing around for decades: UFOs showing up near nuclear sites. Yeah, those glowing, zipping, what the heck is that objects in the sky seem to have a thing for places where humans are messing with atomic power. From missile silos to power plants, these sightings have sparked curiosity, fear, and a whole lot of questions. So, let's get into it, starting with where this all kicked off. The story begins in the 1940s, right as the world was getting a grip on nuclear energy. The U.S. had just dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945, and the Trinity test in New Mexico had proven the tech was real. Almost immediately, strange things started happening. In August 1945, near the Trinity site, locals reported a crashed object that didn't look like any plane or balloon. Some folks whispered it was alien, drawn to the massive energy release of that first bomb. Now, the military said it was just debris, maybe a weather balloon, but the timing was eerie. By 1947, things got weirder. The Roswell incident in New Mexico hit the headlines. A rancher found strange wreckage near an atomic bomber squadron base. The Army Air Force first called it a flying disc, then backtracked, saying it was another weather balloon. Roswell wasn't just some random spot. It was close to where the U.S. was building and testing nukes. People started wondering if these UFOs were scoping out humanity's new toy. Project Blue Book, the Air Force's UFO investigation program, kicked off in 1947 to figure out what was going on. They looked at thousands of sightings, including ones near nuclear facilities, but officially, they found no evidence of aliens. Still, the reports kept coming. Fast forward to the 1950s, and the Cold War was heating up. Nuclear arsenals were growing, and so were UFO sightings. In 1952, multiple objects were spotted over Washington, D.C., near key military sites. Radar picked them up, jets were scrambled, but nothing was caught. Some of these objects were seen hovering near restricted airspace, where nuclear warheads were stored. It wasn't just the U.S. either. In the UK, RAF bases with nuclear weapons reported similar incidents. The pattern was hard to ignore. Wherever nukes were, UFOs seemed to follow. What's wild is how specific these sightings got. In 1964, at Vandenberg Air Force Base in California, a test missile was launched, and a UFO allegedly showed up on camera, zapping the missile with beams of light. The warhead went haywire and crashed. Two officers, Robert Jacobs and Mansman, later claimed they saw the footage, but it was confiscated. The Air Force denied it ever happened. Stories like this fueled speculation that whatever was flying around wasn't just curious, it was messing with our tech. By the late 1960s, things took a darker turn. In 1967, at Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana, 10 nuclear missiles went offline right as a glowing red object hovered overhead. Captain Robert Salas, on duty that night, said the systems shut down in seconds, and no one could explain why. Guards reported seeing the object, too. A similar incident happened in 1965 at F.E. Warren Air Force Base in Wyoming, where 143 personnel saw nearly 150 silent, hovering objects with flashing lights. These weren't one-off events. Researcher Robert Hastings, who wrote UFOs and Nukes, interviewed dozens of military folks who said this stuff happened year after year at nuclear sites worldwide. So what was going on? Were these UFOs just checking out our most dangerous weapons? Or was something else at play? Let's keep digging into the craziness of these encounters. The 1970s and 1980s brought more of the same, but the stories got bolder. In 1980, at RAF Bentwaters in the UK, a US-run nuclear weapons storage site, the Rendlesham Forest incident went down. Over 3 nights, military personnel saw lights and a craft that didn't move like anything they'd seen. Some claimed it landed, leaving burn marks and elevated radiation levels. Colonel Charles Halt, the deputy base commander, recorded the event in real time, describing beams of light shooting into the ground. The UK government called it a lighthouse or weather phenomenon, but the witnesses weren't having it. This wasn't just a US thing anymore. Nuclear sites globally were hotspots. Across the world, in 1986, Chernobyl's nuclear meltdown grabbed headlines. Less known are the UFO reports from that night. Workers and locals saw glowing orbs above the plant before and during the disaster. Some even claimed these objects seemed to stabilize the radiation spikes, though no hard evidence backs that up. Similar stories came from Fukushima, Japan, in 2011, where footage showed orbs moving in formation over the damaged plant. Were these just stress-induced sightings, or was something watching our nuclear failures? What's freaky is how consistent the behavior was. UFOs weren't just buzzing around. They seemed to know exactly where the nukes were. In 1990s, Ukraine and Russia, both with Soviet-era nuclear arsenals, reported UFOs near their silos. One Ukrainian officer said a saucer-shaped object hovered over a missile base, then shot off at speeds no human craft could match. In India, after its 1998 nuclear tests, UFO sightings spiked near testing grounds. The pattern held: new nuclear activity, new UFO activity. Now let's talk theories. Some folks, like Hastings, think aliens are monitoring us, worried about our nukes. He points to cases where missiles were disabled, like at Malmstrom, as a warning, maybe a message saying, "Don't blow yourselves up." Others argue it's not aliens, but secret human tech. Could the US or Soviets have been testing stealth drones near their own bases? Problem is the tech described, silent hovering, instant acceleration, doesn't match anything we had back then or even now. Skeptics say it's all misidentification, weather balloons, swamp gas, or overactive imaginations. But when trained military personnel, radar, and cameras all pick up the same thing, that explanation feels thin. The government's response hasn't helped clear things up. Project Blue Book shut down in 1969, claiming UFOs were no threat. But declassified files from the FBI, CIA, and even the KGB show they kept tracking these incidents well into the 1980s. In 2021, the Pentagon's UAP task force report admitted 144 cases couldn't be explained, some near military sites. It didn't saying aliens, but they weren't saying not aliens either. Whistleblowers, like former Air Force officers in 2010, went public, claiming UFOs tampered with nukes. The more we learn, the less it sounds like swamp gas. So, as the Cold War years faded, the UFO nuclear connection didn't. It just got more global and more public. Let's see how this looks in today's world. Fast forward to the 21st century, and a UFO story near nuclear sites is still alive. In 2009, Virginia's nuclear power plant saw multiple UFOs zipping overhead, according to local reports. Similar sightings hit Ohio and New Jersey in the 2020s near plants and military bases. In 2024, posts on X mentioned drones at 19 global nuclear sites, from New Jersey to Israel, though some users insisted these were UAPs, not human tech. The FAA and Pentagon brushed it off as drones, but the lack of clear answers keeps the mystery going. In 2023, a retired USAF captain went public about a 1960s Malmstrom incident, claiming a UFO shut down 10 missiles and left a 3-word message. What the heck? He saw it as aliens critiquing our weapons. Meanwhile, researchers like Hastings keep pushing, citing hundreds of military witnesses across decades. A 2024 study by Hancock and Porritt argued UFOs might be deliberately engaging with nukes to prevent disasters, pointing to Chernobyl and Fukushima. No smoking gun, but the idea's got legs. What's the legacy of all this? First, it's changed how we talk about UFOs. They're not just sci-fi. They're tied to real-world tech and security. The Pentagon's 2021 report sparked mainstream interest, with even Congress holding hearings. Second, it's raised big questions about what's out there. If UFOs are alien, Why nukes? Are they studying our power or warning us about our own? If they're human tech, who's got that kind of edge? Third, it's left a cultural mark of fascination and unease. From Roswell to Rendlesham, these stories keep us hooked, blending hard evidence with cosmic what-ifs. Today, every news sighting near a silo or plant gets attention. X lights up with clips and theories. Some see aliens saving us. Others see a cover-up. Either way, the UFO nuclear link has outlasted the Cold War, Roswell, even Blue Book. It's a thread in history that keeps pulling at our curiosity, making us wonder if we're alone or if someone's been watching ever since we split the atom. That's the story of UFOs and nukes. Wild, right? Next time, we'll dive into another chunk of history's weird side. Stay curious, folks.